Hey, to those of you that are joining on the rebroadcast, welcome. Just a reminder that you can still tap the screen for hearts when you hear something that you like, and you can definitely reach out to me with questions at SavvySandwicher@gmail.com. I am super excited about this tonight. This is the blogger, her name's Katie Heath. She's lives in Australia, and I live in Georgia. So in order to, she does this wonderful blog called Thoughts on What Matters, and here's the URL for that, if I can get it to show up. And started her blog after I did. I met her on Fizzle. Hey, she's joining, wonderful. So it's super cool that it's a different time of day over in Australia. It's 8-something here at night. Kids are doing homework or watching TV, and everybody's kind of doing their own thing. Hey, Katie. So telling them about your blog, Thoughts on What Matters. And because of the time difference, we just thought that we would, and we've been connecting to on, her kids are at school. My kids are doing homework. Say hi, Natalie. I said she wasn't going to, said we weren't going to show, but so I'm in the kids' office right now, or workout room. Hold on, let me fix this so we can talk better here. Ooh, maybe not. This thing is complicated. Let's try this one. I bought this thing that helps hold your, there we go, that's better. And now I'm just using my kid's iPad holder. That seems to work better. But so Katie lives in Australia. I live in Georgia. My name's Elizabeth. I have a blog called SavvySandwicher.com. And the whole point of my blog is to encourage busy moms in the sandwich generation who are taking care of their kids and an aging parent to prioritize their own health, because there's lots of things going on. We all have got huge demands on our time, and something's got to give, and it can't be our health. So that's the point of my blog. Katie and I met on a group called Fizzle, and Fizzle they have a podcast, The Fizzle Show. They're these crazy guys that talk about starting your own online business. And so we met on the Fizzle forum, and she was looking for people to interview about things that matter to people, and we connected that way. So she sent me some questions, and she's got other interviews and great blogs on her site. Her latest one is about 10,000 steps and activity trackers, and she talks about her Fitbit. And I've got my Fitbit on, and so Katie, just so you know, of course it's a different time of day here, but I'm at 11,363. Pretty proud of that, because I got my butt up this morning and really focused on cardio instead of strength training. So I had a little pity party yesterday, so pity party's over and we're moving on. So hopefully this is I'm a little nervous about it just because it's a different format, but I'm going to read your questions, Katie, and then that way I can answer them that way. And then she's going to take all this content and transcribe it in the way that she does on her blog and under her interviews portion. So just to introduce her blog a little bit, she says, Thoughts on What Matters features people stepping outside of the norm, people doing brave things that matter. You most certainly do both. Your website and ebook are a brilliant resource to others. Thank you. You could have kept knowledge and strategies to yourself. What motivated you to help others? So this is a great question. So I have been, I'm one of 6 kids. We've been kind of struggling with different health issues with my parents for a while. And we've been trying to encourage them to move and to downsize and all of that. So it's been a process, but I have to say that things stepped up a notch a year ago in August. Actually, even before that, spring of 2014, it was getting to the point where my parents were probably each being hospitalized like once a year. And the last few times we have been scared that it was going to be the end. And so my mom was sick last spring. We thought we were going to lose my mom. And then what happened is my dad got sick in July, and he passed away last August. And we had to move my mom into assisted living and move her out of state and away from everything that was comfortable for her. So not only was she mourning my dad, but within 2 weeks time frame, we had to move her. And she just wasn't in a place where she could take care of herself, and, wasn't in a place where she could afford to live, frankly, and get the care that she needed. So we sold the house, or their condo, their dream home. We literally moved them into an assisted living, and within 2 weeks, we knew that my dad, if he had recovered, was not going to be able to take care of her. So we were already looking at assisted livings. So that was something that we just had to switch what we were looking for to just accommodate my mom. And it was tough. And that's a whole other book I could write. So, but basically when I was going through this, I'm just one of those people that when I'm struggling with something, I go to resources like books and web pages and so forth. And I searched, like I was on Amazon, I'm Googling sandwich generation. I'm trying to figure out, how to do this. And all 6 of us, so my family, it's a good question, Katie. She's asking if all 6 of us helped out. So I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. And I have, none of them lived in Florida where my parents were. So I live in Atlanta area. I have 2 brothers that live in Atlanta, and now I have all 3 brothers because in addition to my parents, I have a developmentally disabled brother in his 50s that lived with my mom and dad, and so we had to move him as well. Now he had lived in Atlanta with my brother before, so that's where he is now. So, and then I have a sister in DC and a sister in Philadelphia, and so we're pretty spread out. We all tag team together. We call it, affectionately, we call it Mom Corps. So we all have our duties. I'm kind of the on-site daughter that takes her to doctors and helps her, manage the care there at Sterling. And I also, my brother has technology, my oldest brother, so he does a lot of that. My other brother does the grocery shopping and keeps my brother that's developmentally disabled that lives with him. And then I have a sister that pays the bills, and I have a sister that takes care of their summer places in Michigan and also takes care of all the paperwork around my developmentally disabled brother. And then we always forget about some things, and we just kind of figure out and divide and conquer. So, but there was nothing out there, and it was a desert. And so I just, I hate to see people struggle. And once I learn how to figure out how I'm going to get through it and what's working for me, then I just can't keep it to myself. So I have to share it. It's just what I do. So Katie's next question is, was there a particular aha moment, a moment that triggered your decision to start SavvySandwicher? So this question got me thinking really hard because I didn't think at first that there was a moment, but there was a couple different things. So for one, I'm from a family of entrepreneurs. So my dad had lost his job when I was in high school, worked at a company for 20 plus years, and he ended up going into business for himself with another partner and turned out to be the best thing ever. I mean, they wouldn't have been able to have their Florida dream home and things like that if he hadn't had his own business and then sold it for anything he could imagine getting for it. So I saw him do that. Both of my parents have self-published books. So my mom writes a children's series that's actually on my blog. If you go to My Favorite Things, you'll see my mom's Wadoodle books there. And also my dad wrote more about his lessons learned. He calls it his thoughts and musings, but it's such a cool thing to have that. And then my mom has a cookbook. So, and I've got a sister who's an artist, and she does oil paintings. And and my oldest brother has had several, he had his own bar and has had several ventures on his own. So I think if we all pulled our resources together, we could probably have something really amazing. And we joke about that all the time. So one is it's just in my blood, I think, this family entrepreneur thing. My sister we are a creative family. That's my cousin, Jill Lettingham. So Jill, meet Katie. Katie, meet Jill. So my sister, Annie in Washington, D.C. is in the healthcare industry, and she has watched me, struggle with all my different health and things that I'm into. And so she has always told me that I need to write a blog. And I'm like, I don't have time for a blog. It sounds really cool. But so that she kind of planted a seed there. And then my trainer, Ashley, has a blog called p31chick.com. And then she has her health and wellness business with her husband. And, you bond a lot while you're working out, and she's heard my stories and my struggles, and she's been with me through all of this stuff. And I got engaged with them in my training program right before my mom got sick. So literally she watched me go through that whole roller coaster and still is watching me go through that roller coaster. So she has encouraged me to tell my story, and she calls it a testimony, that I'm going to have this great testimony. So it's still in work in progress. But Ashley Poptodorova, you also get credit for triggering my decision. And then the third person, I don't even know personally, but Shailene Johnson, I love her. And if you've listened to other scopes, you know that I love her, and I listen to Build Your Tribe and the Shailene Show. And I call her my doppelganger, because I think she's just me, in a different place. My daughter's laughing at me. But she talked about how, starting your own business, and that everybody has a business in them, and to start an email list and just to do it. And so she gets credit for it. And so then I think it was just like last spring, I just asked my oldest brother, is my IT brother, and I said, what kind of thing did you use for your blog? And he said, Squarespace. So he said, it's really easy. You can get it going. And so literally I started it. And at first I started it anonymously because I wanted to be open and honest about, the frustrating feelings and the resentments and things that I had for my parents, not taking care of their health. They definitely did a great job taking care of us, but it was just, it's you go through all the different stages. And so at first I thought I needed to be anonymous. And I think that lasted a couple weeks. It reminded me of when I thought I could not tell I moved in, my husband and I he was my prom date, and we met each other young. And so we lived together, and I couldn't tell my parents. I told him that Jason was giving me all his furniture because he was moving in with his aunt to save money, and wasn't that great that I had this apartment. So I was worried that what my parents would think, and I hate to disappoint them. I hated to disappoint them. So I think that lasted about a week until it ate away at my soul. And I was worried in particular about how my mom would feel about my blog. And so I just, and I wasn't sure exactly what topics I was going to write about at the time. And so I just struggled with that. And in fact, I researched it, like, can you have a successful blog being anonymous? And now it's even crazy to me to even think about that, because I'm pretty transparent with people who are close to me. And, there's not a whole lot of secrets there. And so, I can't imagine being anonymous. It couldn't have lasted long. It was busting me open. So, next question. She says, you open up a lot on your website, in your blog posts, and on Periscope. I find I get quite emotional reading some of your posts. How have people reacted to that? So it's interesting. I get emotional sometimes on my scope. So, and I am pretty emotional. I mean, you just have to scratch the surface sometimes, and we can have a good cry together. But ew. To be honest, though, I got lots of peanut gallery comments back here. To be honest, though, I crave and I love the feedback, and I wish I had more of it. So I have sprinklings of comments on my blog posts. I have, a few things here and there, but I really wish I had more comments. I would love for people to just engage more on Periscope and engage more on the blog. And so I would, and I know that that's part me needing to cultivate those relationships with my followers. And some of it just comes down to time, that there's only so many hours in the day, and I've got lots of great ideas about how I can engage with people better, but it just is what it is at some point. So, I'm pretty proud of the fact, though. I started the blog in like March of April of this year, and I have almost, maybe even 100. I might have hit the milestone, but 100 followers, email subscribers. And so I would just love to find out more, what resonates with them and what they're feeling. So, yeah, it's just something that you can't hold back. So you just want to share it. So I encourage people to be transparent and to share. And I would just, love to connect with people at a different level. Next question. You seem to fit so much in. You're a project manager in IT. I got promoted yesterday. I'm a senior product manager. Yeah, I got promoted. And I have the Savvy Sandwicher blog. Savvy Sandwicher itself must take a lot of your time with all your regular blog posts, social media, and periscoping. I'm intrigued as to how you fit it all in. Are there any productivity strategies you can share? One of them is having a great husband.
Hi.
Yeah, that was planned. So one of them's having a great husband. We truly were a team, Team Miller, and we help each other. And we like own certain things. Like you own this. Jill says hi, by the way. But let me give you a couple, because I know that's not what you can't necessarily go out and find yourself a husband right away. So if you're struggling with this, he's Batman. That's funny, Jay. You can come say hi. So one thing that I learned in my day job as a product manager for IT is that we practice something where I work called the minimum viable product. So it's like, what is the minimum thing that you need in order to get something released and out the door as far as a product. So I try to use that same technique with my SavvySandwicher blog, in that I want it to be everything. I hope that it is everything at some point, but
So long, I gotta go.
Okay, good, because you're noisy, both of you. So I know. So anyway, so the MVP is really important, and I am a type A person. I'm a natural organizer and a goal-oriented person in general. Some of the things that work for me is that I get all my training basically from podcasts. I have a boatload that I listen to, so I use my time on the way to and from work. That's a definite productivity tip. I also take action. Like, I know I can't act on everything right away, but I know what I need to act on now, and I park things for later. And I use Trello, a tool that I might do a future scope on that. I'm using a product called Trello to park my future blog post ideas, my future marketing ideas, my product ideas, and I'll even put like URLs and things in there. So for later, I can go back and, I don't want to forget about that. I'm going to go back and look at that later. And so I park all that in Trello, and I really just try to focus on what I'm trying to accomplish right now. I do minimum stuff with social media. I know that I could do more there, but it's a huge time suck. And so I just put some of that. And then I do try to blog once a week, although I have to say that it's probably getting to be too much to do once a week. And so now that I've got a good stock inventory on my blog, I'm probably going to go to every other week. And that's just something that I've been tweaking. And I've been doing the blog. I use my time for both exercising or for working on SavvySandwicher. I use it when my kids are at their practices, when I'm waiting on things. I use my lunch break at work sometimes. And so that's how I fit it in. And sometimes in the evening. So, I mean, if you added it all up, I probably only put like 5 to 7 hours maybe on SavvySandwicher a week. And so I just have to be really focused about what I do with that. What I do with that time. I try to do one thing every day, though. One little thing. It could be just a tweet, or it could be a scope, or it could be something. It might just be listening to a podcast, but it's something to move my business forward every day. Katie's next question. When I looked, meaning herself, when she looked after her mother who had dementia, there is a lot of guilt. Guilty that she was neglecting her kids when she was caring for her mom, and vice versa. How have you coped with feelings of guilt? Any tips for others? This one's hard because I can't say it's ongoing. So I don't know that you're ever cured from it, but I think it's tough to know that you're never giving any one thing enough. Like, work gets shortchanged, when I got to take my mom to doctor's appointments and my own appointments, and, I'm different things, like my kids get shortchanged. I miss out on stuff. Tonight I missed a volleyball game because I got stuck in traffic coming back from Buckhead. So I was super bummed about that. But they ended up winning, and it was quick. Yeah. So I think I miss it more than she missed me. I missed her more than she missed me. Sometimes my hubby, gets shortchanged, my mom, my friends, and even me, like health wise, like I'm super hard on myself sometimes. So, But really what I think helps with the guilt thing is like at the end of the day, I can totally look myself in the mirror and just say, doing the best you can. Hang in there. There she goes again. I told you I get too emotional. That was an emotional question. You can tell I'm still working through that one. Okay, next one. Do you think there is a stigma about putting your parents into care? Yes, for sure. You've moved your mom into a care facility. How has that benefited you and her? So, we struggled with this as a family. I mean, I've got a sister, Susie, and she's the one that just is the nurturer and wants to take care of everybody. She's up in Philly, and she's going through her own struggles right now with a divorce. So God has a full plate, and she would just love to take my mom in with her. And so, but we also, we had some really hard talks about that, about how, it just wasn't, she needed to focus on other things, and we all have our lives, we have our kids, they would definitely get shortchanged. We don't know how long this could last. And my mom needs a lot of work. So, do I get better quality time with her now? I do get one-on-one time. It's not as much as I know that she wants, and I love how you say mom, by the way. She's Australian. It's mom. But mom sounds much, much cooler. So, but how has this benefited us? Like, I have no regrets on it, and I don't think she does either. I did a scope interview with her. If you haven't seen it, on katch.me. You can see the one I did with my mom, a Q&A, where she pretty much admitted that she wished she lived in assisted living when my dad was still alive, so that they could have formed friendships and things there. But how it's benefited her and me in some ways is that we both have the security to know that she's safe. Like, she's got this button around her neck. So 24/7, I know that if she fell or if something happened to her, she would have help right away. And that's peace of mind for me to sleep at night. That wouldn't have been that way had she still been in Florida and I've been in Georgia. So, and then from a health-wise thing, it's a benefit for her because she's got medication management. Now, she would say that she can manage her own medicine. That would be no, she cannot. So we're horrible about it even on vacation when she's, in our care. We can't remember to take her insulin and to do all that. So that's what those people do. The care companions, they come in, they have her on a schedule, and it's a love-hate thing for her, but I know that her medication is managed. And sometimes the refills don't come in quite the way we want, and there's definitely some kinks that we have to continuously work out, but in general, I know that it's managed better than how I could manage it or she could manage it. And for me, it's managing my sanity. Like, I love my mom, and I love my husband's mom, who passed away last December from lung cancer, and we had contemplated having her live with us at one point, but that is a decision that you have to really, really, really think about. And it would have been tough. So both of us, everybody needs space of their own. His mom didn't want to move in with us. My mom doesn't want to move in with anybody. And we don't necessarily want somebody on our couch and feeling like we have a house guest 24/7. So we all needed space of our own. And I think it's important for her to what I liked about her place, in particular why we picked it, is that there is independent living homes around the assisted living, and where they can come in and take meals. And so she sees people that are, of similar phase of life, that are good role models for health. And some of them are similar to her, and there's a lot of widows there. And so it's like living in a college dorm room all over again, but they're 70, 80, 90-year-olds. So, I wish she embraced the activities and things more than she does. But that's just always been her personality. She's more of a homebody. So, okay, next question. What are 3 pieces of advice you would give to someone trying to cope with being in the sandwich generation? Okay, and again, sandwich generation means that you're squished between taking care of your kids and an aging parent, just in case there's people who join late. So 3 things I would say, and I'm just going to make them short and sweet, are set boundaries. My mom would consume my life if I let her. If I did not work, I know that I would be over there all the time feeling guilty. And so it's good for me almost that I have this crazy, hectic, busy life, because she knows that my kids have activities, that I have work demands, and that it just can't be all about her. And so we have basically set up, and I've kind of managed the expectation with her that I can go over there one night a week. And I usually go during a weeknight, because our weekends are just kind of haphazard with sometimes out of town or weekends. And my brothers usually do more of the weekend visits. So we spread it out. We sprinkle the love for mom. So setting those boundaries about things and really pushing back on the things that I feel like she's capable of doing herself. I push hard on those things, sometimes maybe too hard. The second thing I would say is ask for help. So, I work on that all the time, that you just, I can't do everything by myself. And so asking for help, either she needs to help herself or the people around me, my kids are amazing. My husband's amazing. Just teaching yourself. I wrote a post on this on being dispensable, because if you're dispensable, then people aren't depending on you for everything. So, and then 3 is take care of you. So that's the whole point of my blog, mental health and taking care of your health. Honestly, it stinks that if my mom would have taken better care of herself and my dad would have taken care of himself, he would probably still be here. And my mom, most of her health ailments are all things that can be corrected if her nutrition and her activity level were stronger. And it's hard to watch that. So, like I said, she's an amazing mom. She took care of all of us and gave us everything that she had. It is hard to watch. But at the end of the day, you got to take care of you, so that I don't want to be a burden to my kids and my husband. And darn it, I want to live a long time, and I got plans. I got things I want to do. So, sorry, I need to sit there. Okay. Next question. You have an ebook. It's something I would have loved when caring for my mother. At what stage of the caring journey would you suggest that this might be good for someone to read? Okay. This is Ashley. My trainer's on. Hooray. Ashley, I'm in the middle of answering questions, so you'll have to go back and catch the first part, because I mentioned how you helped trigger my blog. So feel free to tap hearts, by the way. Hearts right here. So on your screen. All right. So what stage caring journey would you suggest that this might be good for someone to read? So basically, if you're feeling overwhelmed, tired, guilty, alone, feeling like you have no time for yourself, you're physically and mentally drained, you want to be healthy, you're thriving to be healthy, you're thirsty for it, and you want your family to be healthier, and you're just wondering if there's better ways, and you're figuring, somebody's got to figure some of this stuff out, or is figuring it out at what works for them. So if you don't get a nugget, if you're in my situation and you don't get a nugget out of my book, at least one, money back guarantee, people. There's stuff in there, I think, if I do say so myself, that I really tried to, it's not a fluffy book. It is a very, get down and dirty, and let's fix this thing. So let's get better at this. So check it out, SavvySandwicher.com, the ebook. Okay, Katie says, you speak so well on Periscope. Thank you. I am a journalism major, broadcast journalism major. I don't know if that helps me at all, but you're very articulate. So many people would benefit from your strategies. Do you have plans to do workshops? It would be as good as a resource that assisted living places supplied. Yes. Do you have plans to do workshops or speak at conferences? So here's my thing on this. I got a lot of plans. I want to do everything, but I'm also very sensitive to scaling myself and my time. I would love to do one-on-one coaching for people, but that's not an effective way to scale my time. And so, at least where I am in my season of life right now, I got barely enough time to do the things that I need to be doing. So I know I can't be everywhere, and I do want to connect with more sandwichers on a personal level. So I love the Periscope, because I feel like they get more engagement that way, that you can get to know me, and hopefully what I speak about resonates with you. And I would love to do speaking engagements, the right ones. They would have to be good ones. It would be great if you know of a caregiver type of conference, hook me up. I'm your girl. I can definitely speak on how to prioritize your health. So, yes, I would love to do that. And then this kind of segues into the next questions, which are, what are your long-term plans for Savvy Sandwicher? Do you see this becoming your career in the long term? So yes, I do. I have no immediate plans to ditch my job in case anybody is watching this and panicking. I make too much money, and I got kids that are facing college, so I got to be real about it. But I am building it, and it's fun to see it grow. And so I have my upcoming plans are, hey buddy. Somebody wanted to come in and shadow me. So my upcoming plans, I would love to do an online course. So kind of like the speaking, like it's a better way to scale, I think, if I could figure out how to put an online course together. So that's something I want to do. I have future ebooks in me, about how how we said goodbye to a parent and how we had to, all pitch in and help move and situate my mom. And there's a book in me there on that somewhere. And then I'd love to write a memoir, frankly. I've got that kind of stewing around in my brain, but I need some real quality focused time to do that. So that's not going to be anytime soon. But I love to write. Writing is my gig. What are 2 pieces of advice you would give to someone wanting to do something new, something that matters, like start an online business or a blog? All right, here are my tips. Will you be in your memoir? You might be in it, Jill. Yeah. All your funny, will I be? Yeah. My family is full of crazy people, so they're all going to be in it. I have to wait until a lot of them are aged out, and then I'm going to write about them. No, it's going to, I think there's funny. I mean, between my friends and my family, there's funny stuff in there, I think. All right, but if you're going to start an online business or a blog, here are my tips for you. Grab a journal, go to TJ Maxx or Michael's. They got great, or not, yeah, Michael's. They have great journals then, and a pen. And keep that puppy with you in your purse, in your car, or whatever. And as ideas are coming to you about your future business and blog or whatever idea, jot them down. Park them. Because you'll lose them, and they're good stuff. So that's the first thing. Grab a journal and start writing stuff down. And then search the podcast app for what?
Bye.
Where are you going?
Go watch football.
Okay, he's going to watch football. So that's American football here, Katie. I don't even know what football game's on tonight. Search podcasts on the topic. So, like for me, it was, starting your business or blog, or maybe on your certain niche that you're writing about or whatever. Just search podcasts about it and start listening and get your training that way. That's my other tip. And then my third thing is just to start small. Like if you do one thing for your blog, if let's say a blog or an online business, just set up the main page and say, coming soon, and what your idea is, and ask for people's email addresses. If you do one thing, just do that. And then just incrementally change and do a little bit here at a time and add the pages and the other pieces as you see fit. So just start small. Favorite quote that keeps you going. You can have it all, but you can't have it all at once. So, here, now you've met everybody. Come on in. We've met Natalie. There's Jacob. Have you even seen Shadow yet? But so everybody's coming in. So you can have it all, but not all at once. So basically what the point of that is for me is that I'm in a season of crazy life right now. And so I got a lot of plans and things I want to do. I'd love to, do a sprint triathlon. I want to, I've got my 50 before 50 list and my bucket list and stuff. And I can do it all. I can go to places and I can do these things I want to do, but I can't do them all as 44-year-old Elizabeth right now. So, favorite business or personal development book that you would recommend? The one that came to me first that sticks with me over time, I mean, I've read quite a few of these type of books, but and then another one just came to mind is the first one that came to my mind, though, is Stephen Covey's First Things First. It's super old. But basically, it's just about how to prioritize things, and I just love it. And that's where you hear the analogy a lot of times where people talk about the jar and how you have to put your values in or your big rocks in first, and then put your stones in, and then put your gravel and your sand and your water, and that's how you fill it in. And I feel like every day is like that. Like it's just a puzzle where you're trying to put all these pieces together, and you've got to put first things first, and you've got to figure it out. So, Yes, you need to read it again. I had it on tape, on cassette tape. That's how old it is. So, and I used to listen to it every now and then when I would feel overwhelmed. It just kind of grounds you, for sure. My other book that I thought about as I was reading that question is that I recommend for everybody in a relationship is the 5 Love Languages. I can't even remember who wrote that. It's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, it should be required reading for everybody that's getting married, for one thing. But it also just, you can hone into, what language speaks to your kids and what one speaks to your husband and, my mom, like everybody. You can just relate it and say like, words of affirmation or acts of service is mine. Okay, last question, she says, although you're welcome to ask more questions, is a question that helps us focus. At the end of the day, what matters to you? An extended part of my family, because I wanted, I don't want to leave him or her out of that picture, but ultimately be people, grown people that are people that want to be around them. They're just like, wow, those are cool people. And then to have a nurturing marriage, those are the things that matter most to me, is my family. And I want to be around a long time to enjoy it. So maybe this is cheating, but in order to do that, in order to value what matters most to me, I got to take care of my health so that I can, live out those dreams that we have. I shared in a recent post that I'd love to retire at some point and go live in Europe for like a month or so out of the year. Maybe Australia. Okay, if I come to Australia, I'm coming to see you. In order to be around with my family, I've got to take care of my health, because I just don't want to miss out. Fear of missing out. So are there any other questions that you guys have? Hopefully this was beneficial. I know this was a longer scope than I normally do, but looks like Katie has joined, lost her connection a little bit, but this is definitely a longer scope than I normally do, but I wanted to do this interview properly, and we are getting ready to go travel for a 90th birthday of Jason's great aunt. So don't rob my house. There's nothing in here that you're going to want. So the dog is the best thing, and he's going to the kennel. So yes, I saw that you kept dropping out. So, but I just appreciate this opportunity. Again, let me show you Katie's blog again. This is Katie Heath. And this is her blog, Thoughts on What Matters. And it's just so awesome because I enjoy reading it. And I think that you're gonna be great, and we can continue to help each other. I'm excited that, even if this blog isn't a huge success, which signs are good that I'm onto something perhaps. But even if it's not, I've met some wonderful people. Katie being one of them, the Elderberry blog, and the Sandwich Woman, like so many cool people that have been just, I don't even know them personally, but it's a really tight community. It's fun. It's fun to be a part of it. And it makes me feel like I'm feeding my soul. So thank you for the opportunity, and I hope that you have a great day in Australia. Cousin Jill, trainer Ashley, I'm going to see you in the morning. We're going to kick some booty at the garage gym. And Jill, I miss you. So, and I hope that the job search is going well. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Elizabeth. So very proud of you. You're amazing. Keep inspiring. Love you. You're awesome. Thanks, you guys. Have a great night.